this is Alvin Brown, CEO and founder of the Center for Healing and Peak Performance and Integrated Peak Performance Services, also the author of Journey to Personal Greatness, Mind, Body, and Soul. This is Hump Day Wednesday, and it's Hump Day Hustle. This is a segment we call Hump Day Hustle. So here's the deal. This segment's based on helping you. It's the middle of the week, and I want to give you something for your body to help you moving. Monday, we do the Monday Mindset. Saturday, we have Soulful Saturday, and I feel I need to get you pumping during the week and focus on your body because your physiology affects your psychology. So we have Hump Day Hustle. All right, so today is about stretching. Should we stretch or should we not stretch? And when to, how long? These are all the questions people have, and I'm going to give you, at the end, I'm going to give you about 5 basic stretches for the average person to do, and then you can elaborate if you are an elite athlete and so forth. But here's the deal. Stretching has been controversial for so many years since I've been studying it. Some say you shouldn't, some say you should, how long, and so on and so forth. What I've found is that anything below, if you're starting to work out, getting your muscles, see, we are 70% water, and we are 70% water. Most of our body consists of fascia, connective tissue. And the water helps us to be, when they say we're 70% water, it helps us to be more flexible, our tissues to be able to stretch and to not stick and to move, because every time when we move and create heat, we're creating adhesions and we're breaking things down and things end up getting sticky. So we need that fluid to be flexible. And if we're not stretching, we're going to create adhesions and contractures, and the tissue starts to conform, to adapt to, like for instance, you're sitting at a desk a lot, forward, you're going to start to tighten up the front and stretch the back, and it's very difficult to think your way into being straight when the fascia is pulling you back down again. So it's going to take some work to get you back. So, and we weren't made to sit all day long on our butts and sit at work with high stress and everything tensing up. We get to, as we get older and we start to lose some of that elasticity and fluid levels, everything starts to contract and tighten, and next thing you know, you start to do the small hobbling steps. You don't have that full gait, and you don't have that fluid movement that you used to have when you were young, and this is insidious. This is nice and slow, and so before you know it, you can't stretch anymore, you can't do the things you used to do, and you're limited. Your golf game gets disrupted, anything, aerobics, Zumba, you name it, it all gets affected by you not having that flexibility. So should you stretch? For elite athletes, the thing about stretching is you can't do some rogue stretch on the day of your competition, because it does show that anything past 30 seconds, 45 seconds, you lose power. So when I work with a lot of my bodybuilders and power lifters and people, sprinters, you don't want to incorporate some fancy stretch you saw the day before when you're at competition, because it does change the power output that you have, and it changes the way your performance goes. So you want to start, if you're going to stretch and you want to increase your flexibility and lengthening of your muscles, you want to do it during your training when you can afford to have errors and seconds off your time. So stretching is great because you need, when you're, especially with my weightlifters, bodybuilders, fitness people, and anyone else, you need flexibility. When you're going down in the hole to get a stretch on your pec to come back up, it's nice to have that full range of motion instead of having a short range like this where you're only strengthening up your muscles in between a certain range. It's nice to have a full range when you do it. But if you're going to competition, if you're training, you don't want to, if you're trying to increase your weight, you don't want to be overstretching at that time. You got to choose when to do it. Now, when do you do it? It's best when you're warming up, at the start of your workout. 10 seconds is great for just getting the muscles aware that something's going to happen in some range of motion and nervous systems start firing. So 10-second stretch before you start working out is an amazing stretch. And after, when you're done, it's time to take that 15 minutes, leave 15 minutes to really get into your stretches and get everything going again. How long should you hold? Again, the muscles have 2 ranges. They have a plastic range and an elastic range. When you hold it short, 30 seconds, 45 or less, it's into the elastic range. So that means it stretches and it'll come right back. So that's why if you say I'm stretching but I'm not seeing any gains, well, if you're holding it 10 to 30 seconds, you won't see any gains. If you want to see gains, I remember when gymnasts, for instance, will sit in a stretch for minutes, 10, 20, 15 minutes. They will sit in a stretch. When I was younger, I had to sit in my stretch. My wife, Attila, she made me sit in a stretch for so long, but it helped me increase my flexibility. Her name is not Attila, by the way. But anyways, so you got to hold your stretches longer in order to see changes. So if you've been doing stretching, you see, that's what I hear from my clients, but I've been doing, I haven't seen any changes. Well, that's because you've been holding it for 10 to 30 seconds. The next one is plastic range. If you want to get into the plastic range where deformation happens and you start to see some changes, you got to hold it longer. So I used to hold it during commercials. That's a 2-minute hold or more, and I find that worked for me. So that's the basic thing around stretching. I'm going to give you some more information. There's a ton of research, very controversial, stretch, not to stretch, but I'm going to give you more information as we go along, as we include in this body section, how to take care of your body and how to take care, because the body affects your mind. When you start to lose flexibility, you also lose flexibility in your creativity and your life, so it affects you. So let me give you 5 key ones that you should do if you're sitting at a desk, if you're an athlete, whoever. These are basic, and I'm going to get into more later. So the classic pec stretch, because a lot of times when you're sitting like this, you are shortening up the anterior muscles, muscle at the front, and we're prone to fetal position anyway, so you don't want to keep doing this all day long. And you drive like this, we sit like this, everything's in that fetal position. So stretching, you want to hold on to whatever you want, a bar, a doorway, going through a door jamb, open door, put your hand up, you can go through the door like that and stretch out, open up the pec. You can take your hands at different levels to get different parts of the muscle. If you're at the gym, simple, just turn your body and you can get this long stretch coming through the pec, and then you're turning your body away from it, just like that. So the pec, you want to open up the pec, grab both bars. When you're the Smith machine, you can go through the Smith machine and hold both bars. Next one is the tricep, arm over, and you're reaching over and you're stretching the tris. Get those triceps opened up. Bilateral. Let's do bicep. Bicep, what you're going to do is you want to turn the hand down to face the floor. Turn directly, if you can, 90 degrees from your arm, and sit. And you'll end up getting a nice stretch of your delts, pec delts, right into the bicep muscle. So that's a big one for that. If you want to stretch between your shoulder blades, I lied about 5. I'm going to give you a bit more. This is a good one for between your shoulder blades, the rhomboids. Reach down, grab the inner part of your foot like that, and then arch like a cat. You're coming up and you're pulling that scapula away, and you're arching and you're pulling, and you get a nice stretch between your shoulder blades. That will help. If you're at work, this is a nice one for the glutes, because a lot of people end up having lower back pain. This is amazing. This is the one that I get to all my clients. Lower back. Sitting straight, legs crossed over, back straight. You're going to bend from your waist, and you're going to keep your head up. And you're going to come forward, and the goal is to get your chest down. Don't bend your head, because you lose your stretch. You got to get in your back. Then you can move from there, same leg, going forward, same thing, bending from the waist, from your back. Again, not the head bending down. And so those are some good ones. If you're at work, forearms, palm down, switch, palm over, because you're there all day like that. You can end up getting tendonitis, golfer's elbow, tennis elbow. And last one, like I lied, I want to give you a little bit more, calf stretch. You want to, again, against a wall, against whatever you want, and you're getting the heel on the floor, and you're getting a stretch through the calf, because the calf is going to affect the hamstrings and then up into the glute. The whole thing's connected. So those are some keys that you need to look at when you're stretching. Remember, don't get into some fancy stretch you saw on YouTube just before your competition. It's going to change your physiology and your body reacts differently. Stretch during your training rounds so your body can adapt to that new length that you've given it. And yeah, it works for some people, it works for most, but I think everybody needs to make sure you have balance between front and back, and muscles work in symmetry. So they need to be flexible enough. You don't want your pec too tight, your back weak, and you're gonna have shoulder problems. So this is Alvin Brown. This is Hump Day Hustle. Remember to get your stretches in, get your workout in, take care of your body. You can have great ideas, great visions, great dreams, but if the body's not working for you, everything's for naught. So mind, body, and soul. Until next Saturday, for Soulful Saturday, where I want to talk about how to journal. And this is going to be great. Everyone's always asking me, how do you journal? So that's what I want to cover on Soulful Saturday. Until then, be relentless in your pursuit for personal greatness. Peace.